Well, welcome one and all. Tonight we are talking about how to improve or edit your drone footage so that people can have a look at it. We've got no viewers in yet because it takes about 30 seconds for it to actually start. Oh yes, we are now on. Good.
I see it.
So can you see it? Because I can't. It's not on the iPad yet. Because that's what I'm looking on to see if it come on the iPad. Yeah. Oh, Slippers is in. So I'm just going. Hello, Ruby. So I'm just going to introduce my guest tonight. I've got Chris of Pegasus Drone Media. He's a unique drone flyer, and I've got Steve Wonders of Aerial Views and Histories UK. So if you'd like to say hello.
Hello
to everybody, and I'm just going to say, drone seekers, hello. I've sent you an invite. Angel, Aya, 616 Drones, Don Joyce, Scott Fitcher, and Barraboy Woods. Hello to you all. I'm just going to put the link in, Sean, because I've sent you an invite and you haven't got it, but it's only going to be there for about 10 seconds and then it will be off. So just click on the link and it should fetch you to me. So, Chris, would you like to say something? Hello to them all.
Hello, everybody, and thanks very much for popping in and saying hello.
And yourself, Chris, Steve?
Hello, everyone. Glad you can join us.
So, before Sean comes in then, because I'm hoping he clicked on that. So, Chris, can you tell me and the audience what you happen to fly at present?
The main machine which I'm flying at the moment is a unique H520.
What you happen to fly at present? Sean, can you hear the YouTube video sound up?
Yeah, I've done it now.
That's it. Good. Sorry about that, Chris. Carry on.
Yep. At the moment, I fly in a unique H520.
Why can't I hear you? Obviously, hang on. I know what I've got to do. I've got to go into your YouTube thing, and hang on.
Yeah, into VP, and then you'll see the chat.
Right, technical problem on my side.
Well, we can hear you and we can see you.
Greetings.
So, Chris, this is Sean, Drone Seekers, and Steve Wonders of Aerial Views and Histories UK. That is Sean of Drone Seekers.
Hello, Sean.
Drone Seekers.
Oh, great. That's right. I'm just sorting out.
You've still got the YouTube sound.
Yeah, hang on.
Getting a little bit of an echo. But...
Yeah, well, it's got YouTube sound. You've still got the YouTube sound. Yes, we're in.
Yeah, hang on.
He's doing live streaming, Sean. He does it on Sunday on his own. He's quite all right. He's got a little bit of that's better. Yeah, no echo there. So I'll just say hello to Mel. Don Joyce, I thought a Pegasus was a flying horse. Well, I'm going to let Chris answer that to you, Don Joyce. Dromar family. So, Chris, can you tell them a bit about yourself and what you fly then?
I suppose basically I'm a commercial pilot. I fly drones for a living. Several different ones. Currently, I'm a unique fan. And I'm basically, I think we've got some feedback coming back here, Sean.
Yeah, I'm getting some crazy feedback. There's nothing playing through my TV, by the way. It's coming through my headset.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have the problem. It should be, that's why I always put earphones in, because it makes it, you don't get it, because it's usually your speaker off your computer. That's why I always put earphones in, because it makes it, you don't get it, because it's usually your speaker off your computer.
Need to mute you.
We've got technical problems. So can we start again, then, Chris? With you?
I can't at the moment because I've got Sean's feedback coming through.
Oh, I'll mute Sean then for a minute or two. Then.
I can't at the moment because I've got Sean's feedback coming through.
Is that better?
Yes, much better.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Sean's end where we've got.
Sean's the one with the problem there.
Yeah, I'll unmute you, Sean, when I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay, so right, so basically I'm a commercial pilot. I'm a PFCO holder here in North East Lincolnshire, and I take aerial photos and video. One of the machines that I'm using at the moment is, there's no camera on it because the camera's in another bag, is the unique H5 520, which is a hex and looks a bit like that. Camera goes on the bottom there, and that does thermal imaging. It does inspection, close inspection to roof, Wi-Fi aerials, telephone masts, anything you want to get close to, and then it also does thermal imaging. 3 separate cameras that slide on the bottom one at a time. It's a hex, so therefore it's got redundancy. If one of the props stops, it will go into what we call 5 rotor mode, which basically, instead of it spinning like this to actually make it fly, it does the opposite. So if one of the props falls off or an arm gets struck by a bird or something like that, it will twist either other way. So it will go backwards and forwards to keep it aloft, and you can then fly it back under full control. Unlike a quad, if a prop stops on a quad, it's in the drink or landing on someone's head. Although hopefully it won't be landing on someone's head because we're not supposed to overfly people. But anyway, that's a little bit about me.
Could you introduce yourself then, Steve?
Yeah, sure. My name's Steve, and I run the YouTube channel Aerial Views and Histories UK. Fly a Mavic Pro, exclusively a Mavic Pro. Yeah, and I love it. I'd like the compactness of it, and I do a lot of urban exploring as well, so it's really handy for the footage I like to capture.
And what is your channel all about then?
Combining the best aerial footage of abandoned locations, historical locations, with spoken histories, and then if I can get into the locations I'm trying to cover, then I get on-foot camera footage as well while I'm there.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm just going to fetch in. Oh, he's muted it himself. Sean, can you unmute your camera and tell us a bit about yourself then, please? Because I can't unmute him now because he's unmuted. He must have done it himself. And then when I do it, it sticks on him then. So I will have to refresh the page again. Relay. That's it. Again. So, hello, Paul, Michael, he's in, and DJ and Tony. And let's get on then with the chat then. So we are talking about ways of improving drone videos, because a lot of drone videos I watch, and I don't know whether you agree with me on this, they are go on for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. So I'll go to you first, Chris. In what way do you think drone channels can improve their films so they are more enjoyable to watch?
To hold content of somebody that wants to watch a video that you have made, there are kind of 3 viewers, and 2 of those viewers will want the same thing. They want to be engaged. They want to be kept interested into the video. So if, let's say, for argument's sake, we're just flying over a field and we're videoing the field, and the field is of some interest, but then after 5 seconds, that field has then lost the interest of the person. So if you're flying a church, for argument's sake, or you're flying, let's use one of our forts as an example, you're flying around the fort, to keep somebody interested in that, you will need to have a 5-second part of the fort, then fly onto the field, and then keep changing your editing so that the clips don't last realistically any longer than about 3 to 5 seconds at the most. Then you've got the things like I do, where I video kite surfers, jet skiers. Now, those people want to watch themselves. They're interested in how well they did their sport. So you can quite happily have a 9 to 10 minute video, because those people will want to watch that video for themselves. But if you're looking for the general person that wants to look and watch a drone video, realistically, like one of my show reels, there was a clip change every 1 second, and it only lasts 1 minute, the show reel, but there is 60 odd clips in that show reel, so it keeps people engaged.
God, that must have taken you a lot of work then.
It took me about 5 hours to edit 1 minute of video.
I thought it would do. So, Steve, how about yourself?
I generally think that, like you say, I have took on board a lot of your comments about keeping the cuts a lot shorter, especially around large open locations, especially keeping the orbits, you know, nice and quick. You know, just getting the footage that you really want. Don't hang on anything for too long. And at the same time, try not to keep re-uploading videos of the same locations, flying the same stuff. You've always got to try and keep it fresh. Either new locations, new histories, things like that. You know, always have something new as your next video, rather than, you know, I could be at Wheelsby Woods every day and fly Wheelsby Woods every day and upload that video. And no matter how many times I edit it, there's only so many different angles you can look at, you know, open grass and trees and everything. And a lot of these parks and things do look very similar. And I know for a lot of drone flyers, it is difficult to actually find like interesting places in that way, where you can fly and capture good subject matter, where it's like not, you know, private land, or you're not going to get told off, or, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, the best advice is just always keep it fresh, keep your cuts, you know, like Pegasus was saying, you know, 1 second cuts. It depends on what you're trying to achieve with your footage, but, you know, 5 seconds is sort of like the going rule at the minute for, you know, like internet attention spans. So, you know, 5 second cuts, and, you know, just supplement it with other bits and bobs. You know, there's so many channels out there with, you know, camera angles of places and everything. You've got to sort of try and do something a bit differently to stand out from the rest, if you know what I mean. I think that's good advice.
Yeah, I fully do. Sean, welcome back. So what are your tips for producing better drone videos?
My tips, right, okay. Well, what I usually do really is I go out, I do my drone footage, be it 40 minutes long. Obviously, with me, you know, I use my camera, I use my camcorder, and I put all those clips together and I load them up onto my software that I use, which is iMovie, and then I just cut it to pieces, really. So those 40 minutes will end down to probably 5-10 minutes. And then after all that, I then choose my music. And this is I suppose this is the hardest thing, really, because you've gone out, you've flown your drone, and you've flown over some wonderful things, but you've got to remember, not everybody wants to sit there for, I don't know, maybe more than 5 minutes watching a bit of footage. And that's what I try and do. I try to make mine a bit of more of a story where I go out, I set my stuff up, I add a bit of commentary, and I suppose the other thing is a lot of people don't like standing in front of a camera. It is hard. It's not. I'll be honest. It's not easy. The amount of times that I stand in front of that camera and say it 3 or 4 times before I get it right. But I do it all off cuff. Nothing's planned with me. I just go out and do it. And I think eventually, the more videos you keep doing, the better and easier it will come.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. But you know, I agree with all three here in what you're all saying. More so, Chris, because he's sticking to the 3 to 5 second rule. Now, if you've got action in the video, like you're following a car or following something, or you've got a person in, then you can keep those shots longer, because people, if there's movement, people will stick around and watch it. It's when it gets a bit dreary of going over a field, for going forward and going backward, you know, you've got to alter the different views every 3 to 5 seconds. Then people will stick around. It's like doing a live stream. You've got to have a topic. Then people do tend to stick around, because when I do a topic, my watch time on the stream goes up. That's just what I've found. So that's why I try to do a topic every week on how to improve your filming technique. So back to you, Steve, first. Then, because last video I saw of yours, you did a lot of ground shots with the drone footage.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes for a better video?
Originally, I started off with just trying to get some on-foot footage of taking off and showing off my equipment to, you know, a lot of people. Once I started chatting to people, was like, oh, well, what do you fly, and what can it do, and what's the battery life, and how much does it cost? You know, the sort of 10 questions people have always got when you announce that you are like a fan of flying drones and whatnot. And that just sort of naturally evolved to taking the camera and finding ways into these places, you know, inspired by other Airbex channels. I can't really say any by name because there's a lot of them too, but I thought, well, I've already got the aerial views and histories concept, and I think a lot of these buildings and locations you can access legally. So I thought, well, why not combine that in as well? Because a lot of people might want to visit. And I mean, say the RAF Stenigot video I did, there's been a few people actually message me since then saying that they've actually been there themselves. So it's like, I'm happy with that, because you're sort of inspiring people to get out and visit these places and do their own research about the history and whatnot, you know.
Yeah. So, Chris, to you, Chris, someone in the chat asks, where is it? Black bars. Hold on, I'm just going up, unless you can see the question.
Yeah, is it about the size of the video? Black bars at the top?
Yeah. Delhi Drones has just said. So could you answer his question for me, please?
Sure. Black bars top and bottom. Generally, only ever going to be if you're after a cinema sort of environment. Excuse me. If you're after a cinema environment. So if you're going for, let's say you was taking some shots of some fast cars, you was on a racetrack, you might want to make something that looks very engaging and very fast paced. And to give it the bars at the top and bottom would actually make it look a little bit more sporty, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more racy. If you're going to be flying around something in another cinematic way of beauty, then you'll want to fill the screen so everybody can see everything. They don't need to have that chasey, racy feel that they're watching a cinema screen.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the other thing is, the more camera equipment you got, be it a GoPro, your camcorder, not just a drone, I think, like you said, having little small shots in there of you walking along a path or whatever, bit of wildlife, just to break up the whole film of itself, I suppose, really. I mean, when you go out like I said, I never really plan anything. And when I see something, an old building, or like you said, even a car park, a ruined car parked in the middle of nowhere, a little bit of interest, like you said, maybe 5 seconds long. And all these clips, what I also do with all these little small clips, I keep them and then add those in other videos. So don't think you're just going out there, you take a load of clips. I mean, I store every one of my aerial videos. I get rid of most of my commentary stuff, but my actual small clips, I save that, because usually you will go back to that place again if you've gone to, I don't know, endorse it or whatever, and then maybe a year later you can add that clip in again. So yeah, it's trying to make it, like you said, it's keeping the interest, because when you watch a film and that, you see a bit of aerial footage and they're probably talking about somebody in the road, and you're thinking, why they add that aerial footage in there? And that's mainly to keep you interested, isn't it? They seem to be using more and more drone footage these days in everything now, from news to documentaries to even, I don't know, the cook people when they're cooking stuff, you know.
Yeah, especially outside when they're doing the barbecue. I agree on that.
And it's not a lot.
Welcome, Finley, he's in, and Warrilla. Welcome to my channel. Nice to have you in. Nice to see Dennis in as well. So if you don't support each other, now's the time to go and have a look at their channel. Check people's channels out. I know, because we're talking about drones, but we are talking about filming techniques with the drone as well, and we are talking about editing. Now, Sean mentioned that he always puts the music on at the end. He doesn't, whereas I myself choose the music first and then go out and film to the beat of the music type of thing. So I'll throw that to you, Chris. When you are editing your videos, do you choose the music first or after you've done your footage?
Before I go flying, I have an idea of what I want to do. So if I want a slow pace cinematic movie, that's what I'll actually be doing. I'll go in out and flying that. So in the back of my head, I'll need a slow paced tune to actually complement what I am going to be putting together. So having said that, I don't choose my music, but I have an idea of what my music is going to be. So for a wedding video, I know that I want something that is sentimental, but happy and upbeat, but is going to be engaging and make that person feel tearful with happiness. So I don't know the song that I'm going to choose, but I pay a subscription to Soundstripe, and the music that on there is fantastic. I've also got a subscription to Audio Blocks. So all these are not going to give me any copyright strikes when I upload them to YouTube. If I'm going to get something that's fast paced, so I'm going out and I'm going to be trying something that's fast paced in my head, I need fast paced music when I come back, but I don't know what that music is going to be until I go through the library and have a listen. But before I fly, I know what I want. I don't just go out willy-nilly. I go out and do exactly what I need to do. And then when I come back, I'll spend a couple of hours going through Soundstripe and choosing the music that I think, as soon as I hear the first 5 or 6 bars, I go, that's the one. And I know that that's going to fit. So then I download an ugly copy of it, is what I call it. So something that's not like, properly sound. You can just drop it into your timeline and see if it fits the music. If it doesn't, then I'll go back and look for something else. If it does, then I'll download the proper quality version of that song. So
to
you then, Chris, Steve.
Yeah, well, obviously with the way I do the videos that I do them, I generally don't. I don't know how to really put it. Play music loud in the video It's really low in the background, just as you're like reeling off your facts and historical things. And then even for the urban exploration type of thing, sometimes I don't use music at all for them bits. But so obviously I've got, from like the YouTube, like the royalty free catalog. I've got about 10 or 15 songs in a folder, and I'll literally just pick one, just literally as I do the video, just to fit in, because it's only barely airable in the background anyway. But obviously, as you say, if I was going to do a drone video where it was just the flight, just the footage of the flight, then I would have to seriously consider what track I was going to put that to. But obviously, we're thinking about copyright strikes. I could name hundreds of songs which would go absolutely brilliant to drone footage, but you won't want to take the risk uploading them just to, get told off by YouTube, so you have to stick to them crappy, without swearing,
I had
really cheap ones,
I had permission to use a video, so it clips from a young lady that's a YouTube sensation that's growing, and it turns out she said okay to use it. I used it. Then she started to get a bit more well known, and she got hired by a record company, and they got in touch with me and went, "You can't use that no more."
Oh, what a shame. Yeah,
it was a shame because she's only a young lady. She's only 14 years old. Her voice is stunning. It's absolutely amazing, and the music that she comes out with is brilliant. And she's got about 5 original tracks, and the rest are all covers. But her originals are really, really, really good. And I'm really sad that I'm not being able to use them anymore, because in a way I was helping promote her as well. And she was over the moon with it. She was more than happy with it. I think she must be about 15 now. She was about 14 at the time. But, a record company said to me, look, can you not do this anymore? And I went, yeah, fine. That's great. I find that the free stuff that's out there to accompany your music, if I'm honest, it gets a bit naff, especially the YouTube music, the one that everybody's using, because you're not using anything original. You're not finding anything that's in there. And I've probably gone through every royalty-free website before I decided to pay for it. And paying for it is so much better. The quality is better. The choice is better. And something which you don't often find in drone videos is vocals from the free stuff. And if it is, it all sounds like some bloke sitting behind an organ, and on a Sunday night, bashing something out, keeping himself happy. Whereas since I joined Soundstripe, the choice of music I've had is fantastic. I did a wedding video back in June, and the people that hired me to do that, they sat there and cried when I paid it, and she said it was the music that did it.
So Sean, what music do you mainly use then on your channel?
Well, you know what, the music I use, I've got a couple. I mean, I've been lucky, really, I suppose. I mean, this is what I love about YouTube being a community, is other people obviously trying to make a life of it. I mean, the thing with me, I'm retired, so yeah, I'd probably use some of the YouTube audio library stuff. I mean, it doesn't really affect me, because I've noticed even I use some of my iMovie sound effects, and for some reason, every now and again, YouTube pick them up and say they're copyrighted. And this is from iMovie. I mean, this is a hard thing. I mean, I've got, like you said, I've got 2 songwriters now that write me stuff. Like you said, there's so many people out there, and so I've been using their stuff. I mean, and yeah, it's just music. There's no singing and nothing like that, because I'm not doing anything professional. I'm just doing it amateurish, and I seem to get a lot of feedback from that sort of type of music. It seems to go well with my drone stuff. I'm not sort of going into the world of trying to sell something in that. I think where I am in Spain, it's more about visiting places, and obviously with the music, it's more of a backing. I think really they want to watch the actual video and not take too much of the the music. And I think another with the music as well, not everybody is going to love it. You know, this is the hardest thing, I think, for us guys that make these films. We might love this type of music, but there'll be a lot of people out there that probably don't like this type of music, and they'll make it quite clear on their comments. And sometimes you just got to go with the flow. You got to be yourself. You don't try and copy other people and just play all the popular stuff. I found with most drone flying, it's quite a slow thing. And obviously with the FPV coming into the market now, FPV is getting more and more popular. That's more upbeat music, faster music. And it seems to be like for the heavy groups and whatever else, you can use any of their stuff on the FPV because it's fast. People not worried about it. They just want to watch the drone shoot for all the obstacles. Whereas normal drone footage, it's more of a background. This is what I say. And thankfully, I'm lucky because I've got these two guys that produce this stuff. It's probably sort of, we're talking, I don't know, what's his name? We're talking back in the 90s in a sense. But yeah, I mean, and that's because I'm an old guy. I'm sort of down that older guy. I don't know what the new stuff is at the moment on the market.
Yeah, well, I'm the same, Sean. You know, me and you, similar age group. You know, yeah. Steve's the youngest one in here. You know, and I look at Steve now. You know, how young they are, how far they can go with their YouTube channels. You know, like Chris is only in his 40s, I think. So, you know, years. What's it? What you're going to be like? So. What tips then, Steve first, how long would you think, oh no, I won't give you that question, I'll give you this question and put you on the spot. What length of video, drone footage only, would you prefer watching?
That entirely depends on exactly what it is, to be fair. Say if it was... say a statue or some sort of like small monument dedicated to somebody or something, you know, maybe a minute and a half, really pushing it at 2 to get enough angles out of that to justify anything longer than 2 minutes, absolute maximum 2 minutes. But then say if you go somewhere that's like quite sprawling, I mean, I know I keep bringing up RAF Upward, but that's the perfect example of it. That's an entire abandoned RAF base with lots to cover in there. So you can go for your complete, you know, flyover shots. There's like a control tower, so you're getting your orbits of that. Then obviously you can do your pullback shots on some of the buildings, flying down, they're not streets, but, you know, in between the buildings, like where there used to be roads and whatnot. I'd say for something like that, I mean, I've watched a few other drone videos of RAF Upward, and, you know, some of them are 3 or 4 minutes long, and I've been interested all the way through just because the cuts are right and the music's right. I saw one where I don't think it was an FPV drone, but it was flying really fast around it, and it was to really sort of, like we're saying, like dancey music, you know, upbeat sort of music. And that was interesting in its own way because the music fit the video. But then I was just scrolling through and I was looking, you know, just for old pictures of RAF Upward. And I found a drone video where they'd really like drained the colour out of the footage. It was a really gloomy day and there was playing this really haunting music really slow down the street. And it just gave it a completely different feel altogether, like, you know, where it was like almost like post-apocalyptic type video, which is really interesting, you know. So say an open field, we're talking a minute and a half maximum, with plenty of quick cuts in there, vast locations. I mean, as long as you can think, as long as you can feel like it's interesting what you're focusing on and it is matching up to the music and whatnot, then, you know, knock yourself out, make it as long as you like. But like you say, keep it interesting, you know, watch it with a critical eye and just think, you know, if I wasn't me and I was watching this, would I still be watching it, or would I be flicking through, or would I found something else by now? Like, you know, so you have to be your own biggest critic on a lot of these things.
Yeah, and that is the point, being critical. I always found that, because I was a wedding videographer, I always found that if I had my partner or somebody else looking at the finished product, and if they lost interest, then it wasn't worth doing, so I'd redo it. So I don't know what you think to that, Chris. Do you get somebody else to watch your video before you actually upload it to YouTube?
Well, I am, funny enough, I only ever get my wife or my daughters to have a look at my videos if I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
That's generally because I go into it with an idea of what I want to produce. I will know what the storyline is. I don't just bang clips together. I try to make a story, and it doesn't matter what that story is. So if I'm videoing kite surfers, there will be some B-roll to start with them getting all the kites out of the bag, putting the boards together, walking down to the beach, throwing the kite up, and then going off. And I would stay with one person, do that, and I might video him for 10 minutes. What comes out of that is probably 15 to 20 seconds. And then later on, I'll go into a clip of that surfer, and I'll stay with him for maybe 2 minutes, and I'll video literally flying orbits and all sorts of different cinematic shots over the top, following his kite, all sorts of things. So I don't really know whether I get people to look at it while I'm doing it. It's more the end result. Then I get people to criticize it, and I'll go, okay, yeah, I didn't really see it like that. And then I might go back and redo it. My wife and daughter are very critical of my work, so it's really good because I can take it on the chin. And you yourself have seen some of the stuff that I've done, and you've said to me before in the past, you know, oh, I didn't really like this, and it was good, the idea was good, but it didn't really work for me. And every time somebody says something to me like that, I go, yeah, I didn't see it like that. I saw it another way, and that's why it worked, and that's why it got uploaded. But then it doesn't work. And until somebody says to you, from 10 other people saying to you, that is all right, but it won't bang bang.
Yeah, and that's why I prefer being honest.
Yeah.
When I watch videos, it's all right saying great flight, smooth flying, nice video, but you don't get any feedback like that, you know. And you can't really say, oh, it was 6 minutes of boredom. So you've got to be constructive in what you tell people.
Well, I have a
way you improve.
I do have a pet hate, and that is gimbal movements. Whenever I watch a drone movie, if I just see random gimbal movements, I have to switch off because I see it as a producer, as a film. Now, you may know a guy called Martin, who's very local to us and I'm great friends with, who was very critical of my work in the early days. And I learned a lot from what he said to me. And I always, well, to be honest with you, a lot of the time I fly with him in my head.
Yeah.
Going, what would Martin want to see? You know, how would he want to see this movement on this? Because I might think, yeah, great, I've swung and I've captured the guy on the kite. But if I don't edit that out, then that's going to look nasty. But if I was to get in a sweeping movement that you don't even start to see the gimbal moving, and then it pans onto the kite, you can leave that in and draws, because what it says to the viewer is, oh, what's coming on that pan? What's around that corner? And then as the pan comes in, oh, it's that kite. Oh, and he's jumping. He's 10 foot in the air. Great stuff. But if I just saw him happen to jump and I swung and got that, that would, well, the shot's not worth using. Random gimbal movements up and down and panning and yawing is probably my biggest pet hate.
Yeah, it's mine as well. So your thoughts on this then, Sean?
Yeah, that's very true. I think, like, when I go out flying, I think one of my biggest hates that I hate, and you can't see it on the screen if you're using your phone or your tablet, is when you're flying towards the sun, you get the flickering effect. And you know me, using filters. I find filters sort of sub the video a bit, really. And I've gone out and I've sat behind the computer and I've got this frigging flickering on the top there. And to me, it looks awful. But I have used it sometimes in video, because sometimes it might go with the music or just the scene that you're doing. But most of the time, you've got this flickering. I mean, I might watch the whole video, and I might even go back out on the second day and obviously make sure the sun's in a different angle. Yeah, that's a hard one, because, and I think another thing I've noticed is, like, you have to be critical of your own work. But I found sometimes some of the stuff I do put up, I think, oh, I'm not 100% with that. But everybody else loves it. And I think sometimes you think you've done the best bit of work, you put it up, you don't get a lot of response, and you put something up you think maybe it's not the best, and everybody loves it. So it is a hard game sometimes, because you think, well, shall I just scrub it all together, or think, sod it, I'll put it up because I spent, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours putting it all together. I don't think it's my best, but I still put it up. And for some reason, people love it. So it's a sort of a swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Sometimes you can't keep producing a fantastic video, but you want to keep putting stuff up there to keep people interested.
Yeah, and you've got over 6,000 supporters. So when you look at your channel, to have 6,000 watching drone footage, your channel must be very, very interesting to watch. I mean, I've been a follower of yours for 3 years, and I really enjoy your videos.
Yeah, but I've paid you every month, haven't I?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm quitting. Yeah.
I wish we were.
So let's have Steve's opinion on this then.
Well, yeah, I do agree with Pegasus, especially when it comes to the really sharp and sort of jerky yaw movements with a gimbal as well. You know, like I said, you know, keep a soundtrack in your head. But with me, it's more like I keep sort of like, obviously, I go to quite like distant locations and whatnot. And sometimes it's literally a case of get what you can on the day, you know. So you get the drone up in the air and you imagine, you know, what shots you want and everything. And you just keep it recording, get to where you want to be, do a few takes, send it up and down, send it round. And, you know, if you're having trouble keeping your yaw movements and your gimbal roll, you know, nice and smooth, in a lot of drones, especially with the Mavic anyway, you can set it with smoothness levels and everything to it. And there is a bit of lag to it and it takes a bit of getting used to, but that really does help keep all your movements smooth. Another good tip would be, don't just fly and try and get the angles like that. Literally stop in the air and just take a few seconds to think about how you want to capture one specific like focal point or something like that. And then just take your time, you know, lower it down slow, lower it back up, you know, and you can always reverse footage as well. So sometimes, say if you're flying, you want to fly towards an object to get it like zoomed in, try doing it in reverse. You have a lot better idea going in reverse. And obviously with your line of sight, just make sure you're looking, you know, but you can, yeah, you know, there's no sensors on the back of a Mavic, like, so you do have to be really careful flying backwards. But sometimes the best advice would be, you know, just stop in the air and think about the next shot that you want. You know, take your time about it, take a few practice runs, but as long as you keep your recording going, you'll have a selection of 1, 2, 3, 4 different attempts, which then you can put in as being the one that you deem to be the best one. So,
yeah, agreed on that. So, what do you all think about? Because we're talking about how can we help our fellow drone community to make better videos? Because we all watch the drone. You know, I mean, I must watch 40 drone channels a week looking to feature on my show. And I'll be honest, I see a lot of rubbish. I mean, like the one I watched earlier today, 15 minutes. All right, it was beautiful. It was over Miami or going down South Beach, back and forth, a few pan shots. He was dropping the camera too quick. Instead of cutting them out, he left it all in. And I put a comment on and I says, you know, you've got to cut your video down and do the 3 to 5 second rule and not fly forward and fly back, showing the same thing. And, you know, that's what I have trying to get over to our community. So what tips can you really give them, Chris? Now,
what in terms of what to video?
Yeah. It's because you've got to think about your subject matter, haven't you, before you go out flying.
See, this goes, you know, and I'm not being, you know, stuck up here or anything, but this goes back to the guy that walked into a shop, bought a drone, thought, wow, this is great, chucked it up in the air, flew about, thought, I'm really impressed with this, I'll stick it on YouTube. Not realizing that there's 20 million other people out there that have been flying drones for like 2, 6, 8 years that are going, okay, but he's impressed with it. And the trouble is, instead of helping the guy out, people will shoot him down. So the guy will get fed up with putting it on YouTube and he'll just go and do his own thing. And what seemed like an exciting hobby turned into a bit of a flat penny for him. So the advice there is for him to meet other drone flyers, go in a few decent groups instead of the drone bashing groups and the ones that, oh, I flew my Maverick 5 miles today and it went 6,000 foot up in the air and, you know, just about missed a satellite. Battery ran out and I had to let it come down. You know, we you know, them type of channels on Facebook. Well, you know, I'll just have to leave them. I've never been in there. But instead of shooting the guy down and saying to him, hey, look, you're not supposed to go 5 miles out, and you get called the drone police and all stuff like that, which that term just riles me, because sometimes all you're doing is saying to a guy, look, did you know that you can't do that? And then they come back and go, oh, you know, 500 other people go, oh, drone police, oh, this, that, and the other. When all you're trying to do is basically help someone out and give them some advice on how to make their footage great. You know, the law is in the UK 500 meters, but you can go 1,000 meters. You've just got to go out 500 meters, come past you at 0 meters, and then fly the other way 500 meters. You can get plenty of 1,000 meter footages to cut down and make interesting. So you don't need to fly 3 miles out, you know, to the ball fault and fly back again, because like Steve did, he took a boat out there and did it.
I want even to attempt flying it out there.
You know, that was his way round to getting the ball fault. You know, could I fly to the ball fault? Yes. Would one of my drones fly there? Of course it would. Would I want to do it? No, because I don't. And I'm not just saying this. I can't risk flying illegally because of my PFCO.
Yeah. And that's it, because you are a professional drone flyer, you know. So before I go to the others, could you tell us how what made you decide to become a professional commercial droner?
Okay. Well, first of all, I've always been interested in photography, and I then got into a bit of videography with VHS-C tapes and then digital camcorders and stuff like that. And then I was talking to one of my friends one night on Facebook, and I don't see him a great deal, when he went, hey, look, I went to Tenerife last week. I said, yeah, I know. And he said, look at this. And he came back with some footage of which was a Phantom 3. And I just sat there and I went, whoa, you know, realistically. So then I got the drone. original one, and mucked about of it a bit. Made a lot of mistakes in terms of like what I thought looked good turned out to be a load of pish. But then started to get better at it, and I thought to myself, you know, is there anything I can make of this? A few people said to me, well, it actually started off, the commercial thought came to my head when one of the race organisers in Eaglevp was doing the Eaglevp Marathon, and she approached me and said, that would be really good if you could fly the course. And so we can put it up 6 months in advance to show people what the course looks like. And I went, yeah, okay, I can do that. There's a couple of restrictions here. One, I'm going to be doing it all day. So do I want to spend all day working really hard for nothing? And secondly, with the congested area rule of a hobbyist being 150 meters from congested area, I wouldn't have been able to fly the course. So I thought to myself, I'm going to go for it. And that's what happened. That's why I got my PFCO. I just went, I'm going to go for this, give it a try, see what happens. It's very, very tough, very, very slow. And it now transpires that the earlier stuff that I got into, which was the ground footage and the B-roll and stuff like that, you can't just make a business from flying a drone. It's just not there. Unless you get lucky with 3D mapping and construction and architects, that you are in a specialist subject where a drone is going to cut their day in half. But those jobs aren't there. They're just not about. They're there, but they're not there on a massive scale. So basically, the drone is an additional tool to the ground footage.
Yeah, because you do weddings as well, don't you?
I do, yeah.
So do you get,
and funerals?
Yeah, I noticed that. So do you get the service, the ground shots as well as the ground footage when you do a wedding?
Okay, so
just the drone.
I can't fly a drone at the same time as videoing the ground.
Yeah,
but I have a guy that helps me with the ground stuff, and in between me flying the drone, he will do the ground stuff, and I just say to him, get wherever you can, because there's going to be some great shots in that when people aren't trying to pose for the camera, even in videos. Just keep recording, don't stop recording. And just try and get a few bits. And he's got an eye, you know, cinematic wise, so he'll go off and do that. When I've landed the drone, I'll then do another bit more ground stuff as well for weddings, because every single bit you catch, it only needs 2 seconds of a certain look that the bride or the groom is giving a guest, or the guest is just walking and talking to somebody. Just that little bit of slow, if you slow it down and, you know, capture it at 120 frames or 60 frames and slow it right down, can be special just through someone literally just walking past someone but giving a special look. You will capture all that. And then the drone is just an aerial. The aerial is just a tool to add to the excitement of the video, realistically. But that's not how it all started. You know, it started with, I'm going to make a living out of being a drone flyer. You know, I'm going to earn a fortune, and I can go and, you know, because everybody's charging $3,000 to have a photograph. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. And the hardest thing is people, you know, as we say, mate with a drone. You know, you go to an estate agent, you are never going to get work from estate agent work and charge them 150 quid, which is cheap, because they've got somebody that is going to do it for 20 quid.
Yeah.
Because they know someone. That was up until a couple of weeks ago when the CAA decided to change their rules, which now screws over builders and estate agents. Yeah.
So because Sean, you had your own aerial photography business or photography business in the past before. Can you tell us a bit about that one, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, it was a different angle really, because I did mine from the ground. I had you probably heard of it, Chris. I had a 50-foot mast that was like an aerial mast that you could carry around. It's weighed about 18 kilos. It's like a telescopic mast, I suppose that's a better way of explaining it. And you put a camera on top, so it'll go up about 50 foot. Ideal for estate agents because you won't break no laws. And I've done this before drones had come in anyway. And I used to work down at Sandbanks. Like you said, estate agents don't like paying over 100 quid for a photo session. And there's a lot of people out there now. In Spain, it's ridiculous here in Spain. They just go out of a phone and take photographs of buildings. But back in the UK, I used to charge 75 quid for about an hour's work, if that. And this pole was amazing because I could put my camera up there. I could control it on my phone, on the app. And then obviously drones started to come in. Obviously they could get a higher angle, but the only problem with that is estate agents don't like looking at roofs. They don't want a photograph of the next doors. This is the problem. The higher you go up, and this is what drones were doing, the higher you go up, you get in next door's property. The picture looks distorted. And all this, like you said, waffle about you could earn thousands. Estate agents don't like paying out money, and it's a hard job. Once you get a couple of agents, it's great. You're with them, but trying to find, and it's not constant work, because the other big factor is the weather. And that's why I moved to Spain.
Yeah, see, Chris and Steve, that's the way to do it. Like Sean, he's retired to Spain.
Yeah, but there's snow in Mallorca at the moment.
Is it? Well, I'm going
we do get snow here, but nothing like what we used to get in the UK down in sunny Dorset.
So, Steve, what would you like to bring into the debate?
Yeah, I definitely do agree. I've sort of like looked into getting a PFCO. When I first got my drone, I thought it was going to be almost essential for getting anything done with it in terms of, ringing people up and getting permissions for places and stuff. For what I do in terms of just exploring abandoned places and whatnot, generally they are out in the middle of nowhere. I do my research before I go. For example, like Skidbrook Church, absolutely perfect, surrounded by fields. It's all public field around it and everything. You just do your research as to where you are. If you are just planning to do it as a hobbyist, you can get some really amazing footage, without permissions or without whatever.
Fly around the church.
What's that? Sorry?
You do actually need to get permission to fly around the church.
An abandoned church?
Yeah.
I wasn't actually flying anywhere close to it.
I found that out with the church at Waif, just off of the A16.
Yeah.
The Waif church, the one that's open that you go in there, that had all the repairs done on that. That had to be you have to contact English Heritage for that.
This Skidbrook Church is under the church's conservation trust. I don't think they have any drone laws regarding that. I might be wrong, but I didn't fly anywhere near it. I was flying in the open fields surrounding it. There's no houses, no roads, anything. So
no,
like I said, I do my research on these things. Like,
yeah. But it's the actual footage of the church that they object to.
Well, there's always going to be someone objecting to some footage.
Absolutely,
of their property or whatnot. This is why I do sort of pick abandoned locations. I mean, how far away would you have to be in most situations from not to object? Do you know what I mean? So if you're just flying half a mile away and you've got it in the background, you only
need to be 50 meters because it's not congested. So you don't need to be 50 meters up in the air. And of course, that's no one owns airspace.
Yeah. Like I kept a respectful distance, 50 meters and beyond. And
I'm not saying you aren't, Steve. I'm just saying that if you've only got to put the wrong church up and someone will be on your back.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Sorry, John.
I mean, when I was into my crop circles, I went to a place up the top end of Wiltshire, And what it was, there's some stone circles there, but in the field there was 2 crop circles. That's what I'd gone to video. And as I went into this place, there was a little sign there. It wasn't owned by the English Heritage or the National Trust, but it was owned by the local village group, apparently. And on the sign now, I mean, I'd gone in about 4:30 in the morning, and right at the bottom, I didn't see it, there was a little drone, no drone flying virtually. And I'd gone in there, I'd done the video footage of the crop circle. A guy contacted me to say, do you know you was flying on private property? This is the thing we don't like. So I contacted him and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't realise that. And out of that talk, I was offered to go to their village a month later, and we did a talk. The police were there. All the villagers had come in, and I obviously showed my drone footage. And the guy, then they suddenly realised, yeah, it attracts people. And in the end, thankfully, they removed the little drone circle. They obviously, and since then they've put in bigger car parking because it attracted more visitors, not just because of my crop circle video. It made it a bit more known. And like you said, it's very difficult looking on the internet before you go out to video places to get all the information, because not all your information is on the internet. It's only when you go out there and you do your flying, and like you said, you get a comeback. Somebody said, "Oi, that's private property," and sometimes you can say, "Well, that's not private. I have permission." It is an ongoing debate, and it's such a hard thing. And I know when I left the UK, there was more and more places putting up especially local councils. Was another thing now that councils you can't fly on their land. It's such a shame, really, that more and more people get more suspicious of drone flying. Even for us hobbyists. I mean, it must be even harder for you guys that's got a license to keep to the rules.
Well, no, it's a little bit easier sometimes because obviously I have 50-meter reduction at all times as long as I do a risk assessment. So that's part of the PFCO will allow me to go 50 meters inland to an area where a hobbyist simply wouldn't be allowed to fly. However, if they did fly there, they wouldn't be, at the moment, no one's policing it. They say you can't do this, you're not allowed to do that, but no one is policing it. And if that person hasn't got a registration, shall we say, how are they going to find out who it is? However, there's an interesting thing that has come out in the market that was tested down at Southend Airport in Essex in the summer. And it's actually something that's been developed in collaboration with a company called Copters that actually takes hold of the drone and pinpoints where the controller is. So the drone could be taken over from the flyer, and it also tells them where they are. So before they take control of it, the police are already on their way to the person, and then they take control of the drone, and then the person will be nicked. And that has been developed and is working very, very well, and was tested at Southend Airport in Essex in the summer.
Oh, that's very good.
It's a massive piece of kit. It's a huge, big black box with lots and lots of stuff in it, and it basically just grabs the drone. It actually disables the controller first.
Yeah, I have looked into a few things like that. There was an American company who had something very similar, and it actually like hijacked the GPS signal, and it'd send the drone absolutely haywire, so whoever was controlling it wouldn't have control anymore. But I didn't know there was one that could like pinpoint a user or whatever. But like you say, that's still sort of like, it's been trialed and whatnot, but I reckon it still will be a long time before that's sort of used by law enforcement and whatnot. But
it's in operation now, Steve.
Around airports.
Yeah, it's actually in operation now.
Yeah.
Well, like really, Chris, they are making it a lot harder for the hobbyists to fly drones, aren't they?
Well, come November next year, it will be.
Yeah.
Every drone flyer will need to have a registration document.
Yeah.
Like the FAA's Part 107, but the Part 107 is for commercial operations, same as our PFCO, but everybody still has to register their drone and they have to have a number on the drone. But the police out there are a little bit more proactive.
Yeah, I agree, you know, because then it will get rid of those who are disobeying the rules.
I don't think it will. I really don't think it's going to work. I don't think it is, because at the end of the day, if someone bought £1,000 drone because they wanted to be naughty, they're still not going to register, are they?
No.
It's not going to stop anything. The trouble with it at the moment is the fact that the CAA are are pushing the blame to the police. The police haven't got the resources to uphold what the CAA are saying is a regulation. You know, police can't go to a burglary because there's not enough police. They're hardly going to worry about some guy flying a drone, are they?
No, yeah, agreed on that. Yeah. Well, it's you've just got to be realistic, and we all know the rules about flying and the places.
I'm just going to answer a question by Mike Thomas there.
Yeah, go on then.
Sorry, Mike, I've just seen that. I'm not reading this script very well. I'm watching the screen, but I've just seen a question there about, is it a certain weight of drone? It will be anything that's over 250 grams.
That counts me out then.
Counts most people out.
Yeah, that is 90% of people.
Yeah. It's basically, if you're going to fly FPV and racing drones, they're going to be light enough to get away with it. Anything that you can buy that's going to have good camera on it is going to be way over 250 grams.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say what it is, but there's something coming out for this little beauty in the next few weeks. And this, when it's loaded with the camera and the battery and propellers, is 1,997 kilograms. So it is 0.3 of a gram, 0.3 of a kilogram underweight. When this new thing that's coming out for this hits the market, it's going to push it quite a bit over 2 kilograms.
Oh. So what are the rules in Spain for you then, Sean?
Well, at the moment, they're virtually the same as what the UK is. But ESSA, which is obviously part of the European thing.
Yeah.
They haven't brought in the registration thing yet. I mean, they're still working on those at the moment. But one of the things that has come up is about the noise. And it's about, I think it's 60 to 70 decibels. Now, obviously, DJI are working with them, because obviously DJI, I mean, I've listened to the Mavic 2, amazing drone, 30 meters away, virtually silent. I'd gone down to the salt marshes about a month ago. We're trying to get the flamingos. I'm obviously the one there, and my little Phantom zooming along like a noisy bee. Now, if this, look, I can't see it coming through. They put it as a proposal at the moment, and they haven't really described, are they talking about on the ground or up in the air? But if it had been the Phantom, that would definitely be banned. I mean, at the moment, like you said, we can fly during the night now, but you can only fly up to 50 meters. And I think I've been right in thinking that commercial pilots here in Spain can fly a further distance. I mean, if anything, Spain's gone more friendly. I get a lot of guys contact me saying, "Oh, Spain's bloody got huge fines. They don't like drones." But no, I think what people do, they go on the internet and they see old news back in 2015. Yes, Spain had banned drones completely, but now Spain is using drones a hell of a lot one of the councils near me now uses drones all the time for flying over property. Here in Spain, any building work that needs to be done here has to have a license. And if you've got bricks in your garden, one day there's no bricks in your garden, the next day you've got bricks in it, and if you haven't got a license, you will get fined for it. And they can see the benefit of drones here. And virtually all over Spain now, they're opening up more and more commercial places for drone flyers. But yeah, at the moment, the laws are very similar to the UK. A lot of my guys that come over from drone seekers have no problems on the planes bringing in drones. Nobody's had a problem yet. Maybe some of the islands like Tenerife and places like that, obviously, because they're small places and there's the airport there. National parks, obviously, you're not able to fly over. But other than that, not a lot of difference really. And also, they haven't got all these, you can't fly your drone signs up, because they haven't got things like National Trust or English Heritage here. Yeah.
No. Well, I look forward to seeing a lot more of your videos then, Sean, in the coming years. Around. Time to get so okay then, Steph, thanks a lot for coming in. We have got a bit off the subject of how we can help our fellow droners to improve their content on their channels. So do you think, and I'll give this to Steve first,
we've diversed and made a general conversation.
yeah, well, that usually happens because people do, but when you're discussing a topic, we're still within that topic, aren't we? We're still talking about drones and the laws of flying and everything like that. But getting back to how can we help our fellow members of drone seekers who go on Sean's channel, who watch your videos, how can we help those who make comments on our videos who are drones to improve their channels?
Do you mean how do we improve their channels, or how do we improve the comments that we put on the channel?
How do we improve their drone upload? Are we going to be honest and tell them what we think and give them constructive criticism on how to improve their videos? Like I
doesn't particularly like criticism.
Yeah, people don't, and that
they always take it the wrong way.
Yeah. But you can do it the right way.
Video looks absolutely awful, Chris. I'd go, okay, Keith, and I because I know you. I know people that can say that, but I get people that as you know, I do a lot of tutorials on my channel.
Yeah,
and I get a right pasting on that because I'm not very good in front of a camera or on a mic. I get a little bit tongue-tied. Things don't flow that well, especially with a tutorial when you've already done the footage and you're doing a voiceover trying to keep up with the footage. You can sometimes get a little bit tongue-tied, as you probably know. So I get slated a lot for my voiceovers, but hey, I'll get better one day.
Yeah, well, if you've got a tablet, or you've got your phone, there's an app that it's free. It's called BigView. Yeah.
Right.
BIGVU, and it's a teleprompter, so you can write your script in.
Yeah.
Play it back.
Yeah.
And you've got it there, and you can alter the timing. So it goes up fast, slow, or whatever.
I should write that down
on my iPad, and I have started using now because I'm like you. I'm all right doing live streams, but doing what Sean does on a Sunday, I'd be petrified on because I haven't got anyone to talk to. When you've got somebody to talk to like this, it's just like being in the same room, isn't it?
Yes.
So, Sean, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about coming on a panel and doing the drone chat on a Sunday live like this?
All right.
No.
What do you mean?
I think what he means is, how do you get by without guest panelists? How do you keep the conversation flowing as like a one-man show? I think he means.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Keith, a couple of years back when I first knew you, we'd done this, hadn't we? We had the 3 or 4 people, and then I mean, I'll be honest. At the moment, I've only got the Hangout screen up. I couldn't get up the YouTube one with all the, so I can't. I didn't even know what's going on down the side here with all the I'll take it. They're all nice comments, maybe.
There's a way of getting like a pop-up window. I've shown Keith how to do it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to, but when we tried this, Keith, it just didn't work for me because I think what it was, because we was interacting with what's going on now, the guys that were coming down the sides were sort of being left out. And I know what you said to me the other day was getting somebody else to be like an admin that would look after the comments to keep them interested. And that's why in the end I felt, well, this ain't working for me. So I just sat in front of that screen and I did it for 2 hours, but it got too much. But in the end, I decided to do an hour, and I've got like a script at the side of me, and it's, you know how it works, don't you, Keith? I do the shout outs. I obviously plug my own channel. I then talk about, I don't know, whatever DJI's got on the market, or talk about camera, and also I can interact with what's going on at the side of me as well, because you know they come in, I'm saying hello, and I like the idea that they're subbing each other, and somehow before you know it, the hour's gone, and I'm saying goodbye.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's still I mean, Chris Pixie's channel, he can do them live. Random Life can do them live like you do, but I can't. But I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
If you want to do a script, that Big View teleprompter is a good app to have. It's on iOS and it's on Android as well.
I'll be honest, I tried that a few years ago, and you have it in front of you and you're watching it, and if you don't get the speed right, it goes too quick, or it frigging stops sometimes, or you don't put enough on there, because when it finishes, you're looking at it, and then you got ad lib, and that's in the end. I just ad lib. And
yeah,
I'm probably like, I'm the same as Chris. Some of my words don't always come out right. Yeah, you do get comments. I just, it's me. I got to be me.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these guys that do some of these tutorials, it's amazing how they can stand there, they get it perfectly right, and they probably do it as a profession as well. Well, I'm not a profession. I'm just an amateur. If they don't like it, tough. They can go somewhere else, and some of them do. I mean, what amazes me, I get guys coming in from Australia I'm on a Sunday night. They're getting up Monday morning, 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, just to come on, just to say, "Hi, Sean," and that blows me away. And I've got to communicate with those guys first. And I know, it's like now, isn't it? There's only going to be 15 minutes of people coming in. They've listened to what we're babbling on about, and then they disappear. They might come back later on. But I do like this panel thing, because I think that's quite interesting, because we're interacting, and it's good to get other views as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Jeanette says, best way to be, Sean, if you talk from the heart, it makes you more interested. And welcome, Gail. And Gail says, I think that Sean undersells himself.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I'll get down to being my manager, won't I?
Yeah. Welcome anyway, Gail, and welcome Barry's Views. Nice of you to drop in. Because Gail's been, was you back at work today, Gail? Yeah, I think you said you was back at work today, so she must be feeling tired. We've been talking about drones, and we've been talking about how to improve your drone videos. The rule is the 3 to 5 second rule, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So starting with Chris then, to finish off, the live stream in the next 10 minutes because it's 10:15 now for Sean, and I don't really want to keep him up too late. So, what other tips can you give to drone channels then, Chris? Your tips, what you use.
God, there's so many. Make sure you got your focus right for starters. Make sure you got your exposure right and your aperture right set. Make sure your shutter speed is the rule of thumb of if you're videoing it's 30 frames, then you need to be shutter speed of 60, 25, 50, go up in increments. Make sure you've got the right fluorescent lighting setting if you're shooting indoors, because of the flicker. So there's lots of little things, but essentially, I suppose if there is a top tip, always make sure it's in focus, always make sure the shutter matches the frames, and try and fly smooth is the biggest tip that you can get, because jerky yawing naffs a lot of people off. It really does.
Sean?
Right. Well, what I always say, don't forget your SD card. I know that sounds daft, but the amount of times that me and Steve have gone out, and Steve's one of the worst ones, and I've done it as well. You go out, you left your SD card in your computer, or you left it in your GoPro, whatever. Another thing I found with my SD card, maybe I'm not using a hot enough card, is I always format my card before I go out, because I've gone out before where I've left video footage on there, and I noticed, especially when I'm using the Litchi app, is the screen starts to break up. Sometimes it turns off the video. So I always format my card. Obviously, another thing, batteries, everything, tablet, because there's nothing where you might have your drone fully charged, but your actual phone or your tablet's not properly charged. And especially with a phone, if it drops down to 30%, you start getting problems breaking up again. And obviously, yeah, the other thing, I think another big thing is, don't forget to press the record button, because the amount of times I've taken off, I've seen something, I don't know, some dirt bikes bombing along, I'll chase a drone after it, and then I look at my blooming screen, and I've lost it. So what I always do now is, as soon as I take off, I press the record button, and I just blow the whole 20 minutes of my video. Like you said, yeah, you're going to make jerky bits, but you can cut all that stuff out later on. But always the thing, you're flying along and you thought, I've caught it, I've got the best bit of video, and then you haven't recorded it. So yeah, that's one of my biggest tips. Make sure you press that record button before you take off.
Don't forget to take your gimbal lock off.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't forget the gimbal lock. Yeah.
Steve, what's your
Yeah, I'm still laughing about the SD card comment, to be fair. Yeah, I've done that myself a few times. Yeah, a good tip for the Mavic anyway, like the day we met Keith down at Cleethorpes that day, is try and find a nice shaded spot in heavy sunlight to view what you're seeing on your screen. Because I mean, you had troubles on the day. I've got sort of night vision, a bit of creature of the night, so my eyes were all right with it. But sometimes, especially on iPhones, things like that. I mean, I fly with an iPhone just because it's compact, it fits in well with what I do. But yeah, definitely make sure you can see what you see on the screen. And obviously, another good tip, which is one that I've used pretty much from day one with a Mavic anyway, is set your exposure warning before you take off. When you're in the air, if it's a sunny day, nice flat ground, once you've done all your checks and whatnot and made sure you're all right to fly, just point your gimbal just level with the horizon, and then you should have like cross lines over the bright white spots. Just spin the camera around and just keep notching it down, and keep just so you're on the horizon, past the sunlight if you need to, and then just keep notching it down to a point where you don't get any exposure warnings on it. Literally one notch before seeing any exposure warnings generally is perfect exposure. I tend to find that anyway.
Yeah, that's brilliant. They're all very, very good tips, which I appreciate you doing.
And the top tip, the absolute top tip, Keith, is don't crash.
Yeah, that's it. And did you see what Jeanette put in? That her husband, Fix's channel, has forgot the SD card, and one time he forgot his drone. He went out in the camera. We can all have a laugh over that, you know. I've had a laugh, so I'm not laughing, because I think it's a mistake any of us can make. And, you know, I will never forget when Jeanette told me what had happened. Hilarious. But he's late. He hasn't done it anymore, has he, Jeanette? So if you want to go, Sean, you're quite welcome.
All right, mate. Yeah. I'll catch you in a week then.
Coming in.
Yeah.
So, if nobody knows in the chat, Sean does the Drone Seekers Facebook page. So if you don't know about it and you'd like to go over and support the Drone Seekers Facebook page.
And buy the hoodie.
And buy the hoodie, yes. Saw the photographs today of you and your wife in the new hoodies, and also the Drone Seekers YouTube channel.
Top man, Keith. Top man.
Yeah,
okay.
Appreciate you coming on, Sean.
Yeah, I'll see you then, guys.
All the best, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
So that you ain't gone yet.
No.
That's it. So do you two want to carry on, or?
I'm happy to carry on, mate, if you are.
Yeah, I am, because we've still got 21 watching. I mean, I'm not doing bad, and I've still got quite a few of the regulars in the chat. So, because I'd done the script for it, my script's just run out. So I'm living now.
We've had to do a bit of freestyle.
So I'll talk to Chris then first about how long have you been actually filming, not with the drone, you know, doing video, producing videos.
Right, well, I'm 51. Probably about 37 years, give or take.
And what type of videos have you normally been involved in then?
Well, it all started with, well, when I was 22, I had a rather illustrious hobby of car stereo equipment.
Yeah.
So back in 1996, I was very involved in that in a big way. So a lot of photography and camcorder video was done with that. I participated in it quite a lot. I had a couple of friends that were national champions with car stereos and security. So I was involved in a lot of photos and videos of that, of car meets and things like that. I just learned the other day that is a local car meet happens 2 or 3 times a year in Eaglevp. And I shall be bouncing down there in January to do that. And I shall be doing a lot of ground stuff. And where it actually is, I'll probably be able to do a bit of flying as well.
Oh, you'll have to let me know about that then, because
yeah,
I'd be interested in filming that, Chris.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys meet up with their custom cars and sound equipment. And obviously the sound equipment side of things still interests me massively. But that's when that was really got me kickstarted. Before that, I was just taking stuff of sunsets and beaches and general stuff that everybody took, and then popping down to the chemist, putting a reel in, and then going back in a couple of days to get the photographs and a little paper envelope that you used to get. So yeah, so that's that. And then it just basically, when I started having a family, was to start recording on very old equipment, and then that became transferring from VHSC to digital via a capture card onto a computer back in 1997, 98. And it's just progressed from there. But I would say in the last 12 months, I've gone ballistic. I mean, I very nearly went out and bought myself either I was going to get the Sony A6500 or the A7 because of its capabilities of photography and video. But then they brought out the iPhone X Max. And wow.
Are you listening, Gail?
Wow.
So that's all you use now then?
I have basically stopped using conventional cameras, and I'm now using this because this video is right 1080 up to 240 frames.
Slow motion. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, wow. When I first got it, which was about a month ago, something that was really random, I videoed water running out of a tap. And when I put that back on my computer and slowed that down, that's just amazing. You know, it's something stupid like that. So if you're a videographer, a cinematographer, a photographer, you've got that passion inside you. You've got it inside you. You're going to produce good stuff. Simple as that. So for me, that iPhone, and today, my latest toy, I bought a slider. I've been meaning to get one for a while, and today I bought a 120 centimeter slider. Set it up in the hallway, and I've got a couple of photographs on my wall in canvas of my dogs, and I just had them in focus, went through to the door frame, and then left the front room onto the telly out of focus, and just gradually brought the focus back in, all using this, right? It's 10 seconds of sheer loveliness.
Have you got your footage on the computer?
I haven't. It's still on the phone at the moment.
Oh, because you could have shared it.
Well, I'll try if you like.
Yeah, because I would love to see it.
Let me see if I might be able to
Random Life Asher, Chris.
I might hold it up to the
Chris,
Yeah.
Gail, Random Life Productions has asked, how is the stability with that phone?
Well, I use a gimbal. I use a Zion crane. So it just attaches to the Zion, and it's butter smooth. Butter smooth, it really is. What we got here? Here we go. Let me just check. Obviously, this is not in any way, form, or manner edited. It was playing about, so it may be out of exposure. But let's pop it up, give it a lot of light on that. Jesus, this phone's so bright. 650 nits. You won't have a problem with that, Steve, if you've got one of these in the sunlight, I'll tell you. Right, so here it is. I shall leave it.
Nice.
This is 1080 50 frames.
Well, I like the slider.
Yeah.
So where did you get your slider from, and what was the price of it?
Amazon.
Yeah.
And basically, got it from Amazon. Paid 80 quid, 70 quid.
Oh, that decent price then.
Oh yeah,
decent price.
yeah. Carbon as well.
Yeah,
It's very light. Stands on me. I'll put it on. It's because it's a long one. I've got
Yeah.
2 stands that it puts on. Just tripods. Balance it and just play about and slide about a bit.
yeah. So, are you? Yeah, you are arranged. Can you put the link in then, by any chance, Chris, to that?
What's that?
To the slider on Amazon.
1 second.
Then I can have a look at it later on.
Yeah.
Because at that price, it's a good investment. Always good to have a slider.
It was the carbon one. So
So what about you, Steve? You know, what equipment besides the Mavic do you film with?
Just my Mavic and an iPhone 5.
Good enough, innit?
Good enough, mate. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Right.
have you got a gimbal at all then?
What, for my iPhone?
Yeah.
No, not at all. I just carry it by hand. I've got a fairly steady hand, so you just sort of like, obviously with a lot of places you do have to hop in and whatever. You've got to just travel light really when you're exploring and doing stuff like that, you know. Travel light. That's my best advice if you're doing urban exploration anyway.
Hello, Ian, again. Nice to have you back in. I was going to close this down, you know, half an hour ago, because I only did a script for about an hour because Sean says I could only stay on for about an hour, and that's it. Because don't forget, he's an hour in front of us. So I'm just winging it now. Oh, it's that dancing bear fellow. Oh, it was Ian. Yeah, I thought who are you talking about then, Gail? Yeah, I get you now. So then, any other things you two want to add to the conversation then? Personally, anything about your channels? Would you like to promote your channels at all on here?
Yeah, I'll let Pegasus go first on that one.
sorry, I was just looking. Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was looking at the spider and everything.
He's scrolling through eBay. Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question here? I'll go first, Sean, and then Steve, and then I'll come in a sec.
I have started up a Facebook page called AV UK, just AVAH space UK. Obviously, Aerial Views and Histories UK. If you want to look that up, there's a few behind the scenes bits I put on there, and then like little channel promos and things like that. And I do intend to actually start posting things to do with like maybe changes in the law and other stuff that people have been doing as well on there. Yeah, but obviously, I think there's about 60 followers on it at the minute. But you know, the more people that are on it, the more inclined I'll be to put stuff on it. Like, you know, so get on there and see what I've been up to, if you like. You know, I post other little bits and bobs, and you know, sort of say what videos are coming out next and everything, and chat to people outside of YouTube. You know. Yeah,
because I mean, you can go live on Facebook as well, and keep in touch with your supporters on that. I haven't done that yet. I know Gail to the Platinum YouTubers. So yeah, that's a thought. I might put up behind the scenes videos on Facebook, because I don't know whether you're both members of Jeanette's Facebook group, are you?
Yep.
Yeah, and the Drone Seekers.
Yep.
Oh God, that's good to know. Keep the community going and building.
Yes.
So have you got your thoughts then, Chris?
Sorry,
I've
I've took my eye off the ball. Sorry, go on.
About your channel, you know.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love my channel.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Yeah. You know, if anybody's looking at any other drone channels, they're wasting their time, really. There's only the one.
Look out. We've got James Cox on here now. So you're the greatest then.
Right. So yeah. So
get back to drones.
Yes.
The channel.
Right.
And I'll throw this open to you first, then, Chris.
Yeah.
Which drone would you advise a non-drone flyer to get first?
That's a pretty good question. There is a reason why I left DJI, but I'm going to be non-biased on this. The Mavic 2 Pro is worth the money. It's a decent drone. It's a good drone. It's stable in the wind. It's about as good as you get for the money that you get. I swapped to Unique for a reason. So I'm a little bit biased and I can't help but have negative thoughts of DJI equipment. But it's my preference. So for me, what I buy, I mean, Unique do the Mantis Q, the new thing. That's nice and cheap. It's 449 quid. Or they do a Fly More combo pack, as DJI would call it, for 549 quid. It's a nice little drone. It does 4K. It's not as good as the Mavic though. It's definitely not. But then you can buy a Typhoon H Hex, which is very similar to mine. It's the older style. Comes with a 4K camera. You can buy a package up with one of them now for 749 quid. So that's the one I'd go for. If there was somebody that never bought a drone, that wanted to spend some money on a drone and fly, you will never get anything like the stability out of a Hex that you will out of a quad. I've had this literally, and I'm not joking. I'll even open the arms up to do this to show you. Right, I've had this that flies like that, and that's a rock solid. I've had it like that on one occasion to stay still, and it was like that, and I thought it was coming down. The wind was that strong, but I wanted to find out what that drone was capable of.
Darwin Droning's just put a question here, if you can answer that, Chris. Sorry about this, Steve. You know, if you see anything, just nip in, Steve.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Darwin. Right. Okay. So the native iPhone XS camera app, I don't use it, but yes, you can't change it on the fly. You have to go in the settings one thing at a time. If you are serious about doing photography and videography with an iPhone, buy an app called Filmic Pro. It's about the best thing since sliced bread and toasted like muffins, if I'm honest. It is absolutely amazing and will transform your videos taken on an iPhone. Yeah, mate. It's about, because I can't look because I've bought it, so it doesn't tell me. I think it's in the 20 quids. And then there's an in-purchase app, which is $9.99 to absolutely unload all of your settings, your white balance and all that. You can do basic settings, but if you really want to let go of it and have full control of it, I'll be honest with you, Filmic Pro is the best one. There's another one called Program, I think it's called, which is also very good. Pro Movie. So Filmic Pro, without a shadow of a doubt, is the one to go for. That will transform everything that you do. And you can actually tap the settings when in Filmic Pro. You can just tap settings and the screen opens up and you can change your settings very, very quickly and very easily from down as 720 up to 4K. And you can also change all the frame rates and everything, a touch of a button on the screen. So it's very, very quick. There's no coming out, going into settings, going into the camera and all this. It's very, very interchangeable, very, very quickly. So if you're, I'm going a bit deep here, but someone's asked a question, don't waste your money on anything else, buy Filmic Pro.
Pixie says he uses it on his Osmo.
Yeah, it's not free, Pixie. It's a fair few quid. It's in the 20s, but it's worth every penny. But then if you spent £1,000 on a phone, what's 20 quid?
Yeah, agreed on that.
you know what I mean? You bought the phone for perhaps because you like iPhones and all that. But if you are using the camera, but the camera is much better on the iPhone X Max than it is on the iPhone X. It's a lot better. It's the only reason I bought it because I had an iPhone 7 Plus before that, and that was ample. But the facilities on that X, you know.
Yeah. So it says it's about £24.
It is about that. There's also a purchase app as well, which is going to cost another £9.99, but it opens up all the settings. So 35 quid, you've got an amazing app.
Yeah.
Do everything.
So Steve, what's your recommendation then for a new person who wants to go out and buy a drone?
Well, the first drone I actually bought was the Mavic Pro. I've still got the Mavic Pro, and I still use it. So, regards to other types of drones, I'm not actually that sure, but I know obviously with the Mavic 2 coming out, you know, I'm seeing deals all the time on the Mavic Pro 1 with fly more combos, everything. I mean, you can get one these days with 2 or 3 batteries, spare props, you know, all the extra gumph that you need. I mean, 500 or 600 quid, and then you throw in maybe I use an iPhone 5S. That cost me 80 quid. So you can literally have like a full Mavic setup for 600-700 quid, and I mean, for that price, you can't go wrong really. Especially, I know for a starter it might be a bit expensive, but you know, for about a year before I bought it, I did my research and just made sure I was getting the right drone. You know, that's always the key thing. Think what you're going to get it for, you know, what you're going to use it for, what your budget is, and whatever. If your budget is in the range of the Mavic 1, I'd highly recommend it. Just don't fly it backwards or fly it in sport mode when you're not used to it, because I trashed one and had to buy a new one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I bought this 18 months ago to go on holiday. I now use it for a hand gimbal. I don't fly it. Why? To me, it's a piece of junk. And I'm not being controversial, but I went I bought this to go on holiday, literally, because I didn't want to lug around a Phantom Pro. I just didn't want to lug it around. So I bought this to go on holiday. When I got back, I could not have been more disappointed with my footage. But that's probably because I'm looking at it in a different light to the average person that looks at it. And I'm not knocking anybody that's got a Mavic Pro, but for me, Stevie Wonder wouldn't even be happy with it.
So you're a unique man now.
No, not necessarily. I am, but there are reasons why I am.
Yeah. You've had very good service from them, haven't you?
I have, but I wanted to break away from DJI. I don't agree with their politics, and I don't agree with their security, and I don't agree with a lot of other things. I want to go on a job, and I do not want to have to stand around. I mean, at the time, it was a day or two to get your drone unlocked, right? This thing, there are no NFZs in this. I could fly next to a jumbo jet if I wanted to, but that I wouldn't. But I could. Now, they only sell them, realistically, anybody, because of the money they cost, only a serious drone flyer is going to buy that. So they know the rules, they know the laws, they know the regulations. But for me, the Mavic is not a good tool for me, and it ruined my holiday.
Yeah. So are there any other DJI drones that you like then?
My Phantom 4 Pro is amazing. It's a fantastic piece of kit, but looks like a toy.
Yeah.
And as a commercial operator, it hasn't got redundancy, and it looks like a toy. So, but it does have a general shutter instead of a rolling shutter. So for mapping purposes, it's really good.
Yeah. See, so that's from the horse's mouth. My Phantom 4 is a beast. Well, Pixie's got the Phantom 4, but it's not the Pro. But,
yeah, Mavic Pro 2 is amazing, Ian says, and I must admit, from what I've seen on footage from Mavic 2 Pro, they are very, very, very good. And I don't doubt for 1 minute Steve will be out and buying one of them very soon. And he will see a massive difference in his footage.
Yeah, definitely. So it's, but, you know, it's recommended. I mean, Baz Burton, he hopefully sometime in 2019 is joining the drone community. So, you know, that's why I wanted your two opinions on which drone you would go for.
Sorry, who is that that's joining the drone community?
Baz Burton, he was on earlier on.
Yeah, I saw, yeah.
But he's thinking about getting a drone, and that's why I asked you. But that new one,
I'll tell you what, I know a man that's selling a Phantom 3. That would be an excellent starter drone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm still here waiting for it to sell. Well, this is it. Anyway, Keith, it's selling his drone to Baz for 100 quid. Yes, yeah. No, put a through on that, random, and then but he could buy it in £25 instalments, £25 a month instalments. I don't mind that, as long as I got paid. You know me, I'm all right. Anyway, it's now 10:15, and I'm getting a bit thirsty, so I'm going to close the stream down. And I appreciate everybody who's come in the chat. I appreciate the people on the panel. Hope you've enjoyed the experience of
always
being on the panel.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Keith.
You'd like to say, Chris, before we close the stream down to the people in the chat?
No, just thanks very much for the people that have come in there. I've got to probably say that it's one of the quickest hour and 45 minutes I've had for a long time. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Well, thank you very much. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I'd like to say a big thanks to the Canadian Drone Hub. They're very good. They do a live stream. I think it's 9 a.m. every morning, but that's Canadian time. So that works out every 2 in the afternoon UK time. The community on there is brilliant. I mean, I've bumped into you on there a couple of times, Eagle. All they do is talk about drones, RC, FPV racers, all aspects of that. Very welcoming and very supportive community. If anyone's interested, I'm sure a few people on the chat already are on there. But you know, if you've not heard of them before, go check out Canadian Drone Hub. Yeah.
So thank you very much, guys. Keep on, because we'll have an answer after. So bye, everybody in the chat, and thank you again.